let's get into it. The Howard Stern Show is a show hosted by Howard Stern and his good friend, Robin Quivers. And I know that, Monique, you've been listening since he got back from his summer break, right?
Holy crap. So yeah, sadly, I've been listening. Actually, it's so bad that I've infused other things into the show now. It's not enough to talk about.
There's not enough to talk about. One of the things that drives me crazy about Howard Stern, we reviewed him years ago, and it was a fun review. Crows was over here. We talked about the Howard Stern Show and where it's at, where it used to be. Now when I listen to the show, it's so slow. Like there's a segment where Ronnie gets high and they interview him, and I'm like, okay, I'll check this out. I couldn't get through it. It's like 50 minutes, but it feels like 3.5 days. It doesn't do anything. Nothing happens.
Now Ronnie's in Las Vegas, so he's literally calling in a coma at 5 o'clock in the morning. So there's nothing of any note.
That's a good point. I didn't even think about the time difference. Yeah, that's got to suck.
I think he's on kind of retainer. I was told by somebody, I don't know if it was Brent, or I think he's on like a per diem, like they just pay him when he comes on.
Makes
so
sense.
He's ready to go at like 5 in the morning, and they use him if they have to, and if not, he hangs up, and that's it.
So let's start there. I picked some clips from multiple episodes that I listened to, and I want to start with the thing that drives me nuts about Howard Stern is he does not know how anyone lives their life. He used to be the everyman, and now he's not the anybody man. He can't relate to anyone or anything that anyone does.
Well,
and for some reason, he takes pride in this.
By the way, I love that you're doing clips, because this is probably the first time I've ever been on a show where somebody's actually playing Howard Stern clips, and it's not me.
Good.
And two, yeah, I mean, I love to see what other people like read out of the show, because what I read out of it is completely different than what somebody else might.
Right. And that's why I thought it'd be interesting to do Howard Stern with you, even though you talk about it all the time, because I was a huge fan of Howard Stern and I dropped off and I do not listen anymore. So now when I go and check back in, I'm like, whoa, what's going on here? People are listening to this? This is insane. Yeah. So it starts off Howard, because this is how the gossip works on the Howard Stern Show. People tattle on each other, and then Howard brings that to the air. So this is the big news going on with Ronnie, who is retired. He's 71 years old, or maybe 72.
Yeah, 71, because Robin's only a year younger than him.
71 years old. He's living out in Las Vegas. He's retired. And this is the big news.
I got a report from my sources that last Thursday, Ronnie, the limo driver, drank 10 gin and tonics while watching football.
Wow.
Which is somewhat alarming. Ronnie started drinking at 2:30 in the afternoon that day in a bar.
Okay, so this is very alarming. Thursday night football, and he drank 10 gin and tonics.
10.
What's going to happen to this guy? Is he still alive? Is he still with us? Did he OD?
That's like 40 cores in John years. That's like that's a lot. And I did put that on my show. I thought it was kind of interesting, but he tries to look for something. Listen, everybody tattletales. That's exactly right. So who would tell him? Who would tell him that he was at a bar having 10 gin and tonics? Who would do that?
Jason Kaplan, of course.
But how would Jason know?
I think he was out there visiting him. Isn't that what they said? I thought Ronnie was out with like 20 guys. They were all watching football. And of course, Jason Kaplan's there writing down notes and every drink that's ordered.
Wasn't even paying attention. Yeah, Jason.
I think so.
Did you see Jason's new ad for Nutrisystem?
No. Oh, I heard he lost a lot of weight. Is he looking hot?
Oh my God, so hot. So I did like a face thing to see who he looked like, and it came back with The Rock. And I tweeted it to him.
No.
Kidding.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
You can do worse.
He's lost 80 something pounds. Yeah.
Good for him.
Kind of crazy. So yeah, he was out there, and he's definitely the biggest tattletale of them all. But there's really almost nothing else to say. I mean, Ronnie's retired. He can do whatever the fuck he wants. Like, just go drink. Knock yourself out.
So then Ronnie comes on and explains that, okay, I had 10 gin and tonics, but we hung out for over 12 hours. Yeah. They go out at 2:30 in the afternoon, and he doesn't get home until 3 a.m.
So that's like being sober.
So that's like having less than one drink an hour.
Yeah. That's
right. I mean, you're legally able to drive, as far as I know.
Technically, that's 2 days worth of drinking. So let's be fair.
Yeah. So this is him explaining that, and then Robin gives some great advice.
Now, in all seriousness, what's going on? I'm concerned. 10 gin and tonics. Why not 2 or 3?
No, it was within like 12 hours.
Right.
Ever heard of water?
Yeah, I've heard of water.
Yes, that's what you drink. when you're thirsty.
Okay. Is Robin competing to be the biggest nag on this show? Like, I know Howard's insufferable, but Robin, do you have to get in on the act too? You ever heard of water? Like, shut the fuck up. I'm at the bar watching football. What are you talking about, water?
Because they do nothing. They, we classically call Howard a veal. He does absolutely nothing. He's been paid. His hands are probably as soft as a baby's ass. Like, there is nothing going on in that man's life. So his only thing to do is to just beat the shit out of his employees. But it doesn't work the same way it used to.
Yeah, it doesn't work because everyone is so beaten down now that they have to find the lamest shit to rip on people for. We'll get into the Pearl Jam concert in a little bit. But let me finish up my Ronnie stuff real quick. So Ronnie actually throws out a line here. I don't know if he's trying to be funny or not, but this actually is a good line. And it zooms past everybody's head for whatever reason.
That was the first day of football. Okay.
Right. Oh, that's different.
That was Thursday night, I guess it was a week ago, over a week ago.
Why did you get together at 2:30?
Because the game starts here at 5:00.
Oh.
Why'd you get there at 2:30? Well, the game starts at 5. Yeah. When should we get together?
Duh.
I know. Like, that's kind of a funny line. And everyone's just like, oh, okay, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
I get together with my friends for a 1 o'clock game around 1 o'clock. And then we start watching it.
Howard, Robin, if you don't understand drinking, don't try making fun of it.
Right.
You don't understand drinking.
Yeah, exactly. More fun for that matter.
The irony of all ironies is that he podcasts from his wine cellar. And he has never had wine in that cellar ever because he doesn't drink.
Right.
And it's his way. It's his way of like associating with all of the people that live around him in the Hamptons that are all like, been through AA, Drug Addicts Anonymous, all of that shit. So this is his way of saying, I don't drink either. It's just really not good for my body. And so he doesn't do that. And he doesn't understand anybody who drinks, eats, has fun. I mean, nothing.
Yeah, leaves the house. Oh, yeah.
Leaves the house.
But not only, so Monique, you would think if you were someone who was a broadcaster, you have a big audience, and you couldn't relate to people on any level, you're like, I can't believe people go out to eat. That's crazy. You would think, like, maybe something's wrong with me. I have some wacky opinions on how people should live their lives. I should talk to my therapist about this.
Is that he should embrace it. He should be like the frigging Kardashians. He should show us the, private jet that he's taking down to Florida. He should show us the bowling alley. He should show us, this bed that he has that apparently was from like the 17th century that he has in like one of his bedrooms. Like, flaunt the shit now. You are not every man. You never were. Right. You were never half Italian and you were never every man. So, whatever you do, just embrace it now. Embrace the fact that you'll never leave your house again. Never.
Rather than doing that, he just wants to lecture everyone and drag everyone down. Let me finish up on this stuff with Ronnie. So they're asking him about his exercise routine. And of course, Fred has to shoehorn in pegging jokes. This doesn't fit in this situation at all. This is not natural to this conversation, but because this was a big topic that Ronnie's girlfriend Stephanie pegged him. How many years ago was that? 5-6 years ago this came up?
Like 7, 8.
Yeah. It's still going on.
Yeah. What's your workout? Yeah. I'm curious.
I work out with some weights and treadmill and stuff like that. Nothing crazy.
Squats. I can do a lot of squats, a lot of ass exercises. So when Stephanie puts that dildo in my ass, it doesn't fall out.
Yeah, he's doing exercises so that the dildo doesn't fall out of his ass. Good one, Fred. That makes sense.
Yeah, it's Fred's time to shine. Fred is literally persona non grata throughout like 3.5 hours worth of show. And the only time he gets to come on is when Ronnie's there. And so you can say the C word, the sea monkey word, as we call it now, and, talk about being pegged. That's it. That's all he's got.
That's the other thing about the Howard Stern show that I found to be a little bit strange. There's only 2 types of conversations that go on in the show. Kissing the asses of celebrities as if they're gods among us.
Yes.
Or talking about the grossest sex stuff any 68-year-old man's ever talked about.
Grossest homosexual stuff.
And it's usually dicks and balls, yes.
Okay, it's usually dicks, cock, yeah, right. It's cock and balls and ass. And that's what he does. And I kind of think what it is remember when he was he had the E! Show and in the Channel 9 show, whatever he had like before that, the whole thing was to grab the audience, which is you guys, Chris, Carl, that you are the audience. And so in order to do that, you needed as much tits and ass as you could possibly get, right? So that's why he always had them in, was because it was good for the air. Not that he cared about it, like, because I don't think he gave a shit about having any of these porn stars in. You know, they would go to Scores, they would wrangle some of the girls from there, they would promote their like porn thing or whatever, and yeah, you can smack my ass with a fucking fish and or go on the Sybian. But not anymore. I don't need to do that anymore.
Wait a second, Monique. Are you telling me that Howard's not even into lesbians? Because you are shattering my entire world right now with this information. No. My childhood was a lie.
Your childhood was a lie. He's not into lesbians. He knew that if he even said the word lesbian, it would bring you guys in. It would bring that trucker in who's going from New York to California.
I'm going to start writing that in the description of every episode. Yeah. We talk about lesbians. There's lesbian stuff going on. There's a lesbian.
But you don't even need that anymore. You know what? Ever since porn became free, nobody gives a shit anymore. Like, none of this is titillating. None of it is sexy. Nothing. So what can you do? Like Brent comes in, right? Brent was behind the scenes for how many years? All of a sudden, he gets to be front and center. Why? Because they like to swing. And they like to have sex with other couples. And Brent, unfortunately, likes to sit in the corner and watch a guy with one leg fuck his wife. But yet, that's the way it works. That is
super steamy.
It's abnormal enough to be good for the show. That's how it works.
All right, so that was this one day episode where he has this long conversation where he's telling Ronnie he's a bad person and doesn't know how to live his life, even though Ronnie's 71 and retired. And then fast forward to the next day, he's reading his emails. And the listeners agree with Howard on this one.
Couple of fans, not just me, were sharing their concerns. Yeah. If I drank that much in a day, I'd be out of commission for a week. Easy on the booze, Ronnie. We don't know how much that old liver can handle. Ronnie described having 10 gin and tonics in one day.
Yeah.
What kind of show am I listening to? Listeners are going, oh my God, is he all right? Should we start funeral arrangements? What's going on with them?
I don't believe for a second that he gets emails, because I think in that same commentary he said we got emails and tweets about this. He doesn't allow tweets on the Stern Show. Yeah. There are no tweets allowed. Like, you're not allowed to do anything that has to do with commenting on the show. I firmly believe that Fred has written like 95% of the comments that he gets.
Yeah, listen to all these people agreeing with me. Fred agrees with me. Fred agrees with me. Fred N is into it.
Yeah, I think it's all bullshit.
All right, and then we're not done with cocktail talk yet. Remember, this is the crazy thing. This guy was off for the entire summer, and one of the first things. What's that, Monique? I'm sorry.
It's not even Cocktober yet.
It's not even Cocktober yet. Now we're talking about his cocktails. Oh, God, Cocktober. I'll stay away from that. But yeah, this was such a spicy story that they had to keep it going.
Well, anyway, everyone's concerned about you hitting the 10 gin and tonics.
Oh, that's like a once in a while thing. It's not all the time, dude.
All right. It's a lot.
I mean, even once in a while, 10 gin and tonics. That's a lot of booze to put away.
Listen, there was a long period of time. It started in the early afternoon and ended it in the early morning.
You know what they should really do? You know, in the Poochie episode of The Simpsons, where they're trying to figure out what parts of the show the kids like, which parts they don't. You like twist the knob back and forth. Yeah. I would love it for like when Howard's going, "Oh my gosh, you drank alcoholic beverages." People just like, "Oh no, stop, move on." Yeah. That's not that titillating.
Bring the muscle man back out here.
Exactly. It's like we went from Artie Lang doing heroin and blow every day. And like, whoa, this is amazing. To like, this guy's having a cocktail watching the football game with his buddies.
Less than 1 per hour. I mean, who's bitching? Are the vodka people pissed about this? What's going on?
Artie would fall asleep on air. I remember. Literally fall asleep on air. But that's okay. You know, having a drink an hour is the most ridiculous. And you know, gin and tonic, most of the time, it's mostly friggin' tonic. I can't even imagine that it was that much. And by the way, good on Ronnie for being like 71 or 72 and being able to stay out that long.
Yeah. I mean, when are you supposed to start drinking your face off? Right? You made it this far? Go for it. You live in Vegas. Let's go.
Oh, you need a reason? Yeah.
You are 71 in Ronnie years. Don't worry, producer Chris. All right. Let's get into the crazy sex talk now. And like Monique already pointed out, it's always gay stuff. So there is this prank call that Howard is very excited about. He's not even just excited about it. The fans are excited about it.
I haven't even listened to it.
You haven't heard this yet? No. All right. So the fans are pumped for Fisty Gary. Now there's this character that Gary Delabate plays called Flirty Gary. that's not funny or interesting in any way, but they pretend that it is. And so he's explaining that the fans are pumped up for this next prank phone call.
Also, people are very, very excited about this Fisty Gary thing I'm about to go into.
Oh.
The fans are pumped up. They want to hear this. I will
They're not
never
afraid.
say they are not afraid. I will never say no to a new Flirty Gary prank call. He always delivers, disgusting or not. I'm excited. Bring on Fisty Gary.
All right, so the premise of this call is Gary's playing this flirtatious character, and he's calling this guy named Hunger FF, and the FF stands for fist fucking. This was a guy that Wolfie found at a anal sex convention a few years back.
The fact that you're even saying this sentence is just really repulsive to me.
I
Seriously.
know. None of this is interesting.
Wait, can you just bring back one quick second? The fact that, can you see somebody furiously typing an email to Howard saying, bring on Fisty Gary? Like, who writes that?
Yeah, I know. It's such bullshit. There's no way. And actually, if he did read the actual emails he's been getting over the years, that would be interesting.
Exactly.
What the fuck happened to the show? What am I listening to?
When did Gary start doing bits?
Oh, they're running out of ideas.
Yeah, you think? Jeez.
No shit. So, all right, we're going to set this up. It's going to be better than 10 Super Bowls.
The call is intense and unsettling. If you happen to be eating or operating heavy machinery, you may want to turn off your radio. So without further ado, Robin, I give you volume 1 of the most shocking phony phone call of all time. Fisty Gary calls a fister.
The most shocking phony phone call of all time is happening this week on the Howard Stern Show. What are the chances? How lucky are we?
I waited all summer for this.
It's 2 parts.
He explains it's a 44-minute long call, and he might put it on the app. Ooh, will ya? I want to hear the parts you guys didn't use.
What about that cum hat everybody was so excited about earlier in the year?
Yeah, and then as soon as it actually happened, I think that management went, we can't have a hat full of cum. We got to stop this right now.
It's hazardous waste. You can't have that in the office.
But bodily fluids can't be just mailed around. You know that, right? Jesus. All right, I'm going to play you. I'm glad you haven't heard this yet, Monique. Hold on to your chair. You might fall off it. These are examples of the jokes that happened during this hilarious and shocking phony phone call between Fisty Gary and Hunger FF. Oh, and I just want to point out, if this isn't edited within its life, then call me a monkey's uncle, because this sounds so heavily edited. There's no way this is a legit conversation between two people.
And
if you got lesions,
go ahead.
44 minutes long?
Yeah, I'm just gonna play.
It had to be on for like an hour and a half. Like, seriously.
Yes, agreed. And doesn't it sound like Gary's pre-recorded? Like they already have all the questions ready to go and they're just hitting drops?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
If you've got lesions in your hole, then baby, that's my goal. That ass is officially ribbed for my pleasure.
Oh, fuck. Okay. My hole is already quivering.
Mm-hmm. I heard you dig fisting?
I pretty much live for it, yeah.
Well, that's great, because I dig out colons.
Oh, fuck. Okay, now you're talking my language. How big are your hands?
Listen, it ain't the size of the fist. It's the motion of the wrist.
Oh, fuck. Okay.
Call me Rocky, because I will use your hole like a speed bag.
Fuck yeah. How deep do you want to go on me?
Let's put it this way. Is your asshole Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky?
Why do you ask?
Because I'm about to supply it with arms.
This is the shocking prank call. But by the way, the talk up to that, I didn't pull all the clips. It was 7 minutes long of Howard going, coming up next. The most shocking phony phone call.
There's musical promotions. There's advertising. I mean, it's just, okay, first off, completely set up.
Yeah.
The fact that Wolfie met him like 3 years ago, they already knew who the guy was. So I'm pretty sure. And in order for it to be a phony phone call, I know that New York is a one-party state where you can record something and be the only person recording it, and that's okay. But that's drops. That's totally drops. So the guy had to be totally, just kind of going with the flow of the bullshit.
It's not a phony phone call. If you call a guy who's known for being like a fisting porn star, that's like his job. It's his profession. And you go, hey, man, I want to fist you. Like, oh, good one. Okay. Yeah.
All right, good talk.
And you come up with one-liners. I mean, that's what you do. You come up with one-liners for the fisting guy. Like, it makes no sense.
What a hilarious phony phone call that is. But yeah, you're right. There was promo for this. They were talking it up. There's a staff of 70 people over there. They came up with this one bit, and they're like, wow, we really got to milk this. So then the next day on the show, they get the fakest phone call. I've heard fake phone calls on radio shows before, but this is the fakest phone call that was ever faked.
Oh, hey, Howard, listen, I've been listening to you since you were at W4 in Detroit on Jefferson Avenue, and I wish Robin and the team were with you back then.
First, I'm calling bullshit on that. I've been listening to you since, what was that? That's the 70s he's talking about. No one listened to Howard in Detroit in the 70s. Why he left. Nobody. All right, anyway, moving on.
All right.
But I love the show, and I just puked. I pulled off at 28th Street in Grand Rapids, and I was listening to that ass meat stuff, and I just got so freaking sick, I had to puke next to a dead raccoon.
All right, if you're going down Jefferson Avenue, do not roll into that puke. And just give the guy giving you a warning. Make sure. Jefferson Avenue.
Do you think that guy got so sick to his stomach they pulled over and puked next to a dead raccoon, Monique?
Yeah, okay. Number one, that probably would make that guy like 70, right? Because he's been listening to Howard since Howard's been on Detroit radio.
Where's he going? He's got nowhere to commute to.
Where's he going? And yeah, of course, it's the same thing. Like, I had to pull over laughing. It was like so hysterical. Like, it's just, it
doesn't happen.
It doesn't happen. It's not a real thing. I swerved off the road and killed children. Your show is so funny. Well, thanks for the call. Yep.
Like, that's so nauseating. How about just change the channel? I don't know. Call me crazy.
It was too titillating. You had to listen every second of it.
And I was in the dead raccoon district, so
DRC.
Multitask.
And then this is also from the next day after they played the call. They do this thing where all of a sudden a celebrity will pop in, and this happens to be Jeff Goldblum.
I hate the knocking thing. I hate the knocking.
Yeah, it's so weird, right?
Yeah.
They've been doing this since COVID, since the pandemic, where they all went remote. Now they have because it's on Zoom or whatever, all of a sudden people just pop in. Like, whoa, Jeff Goldblum's here.
And it's always somebody random that nobody gives a shit about.
I have a feeling. Oh, who? Like Dan Rather?
Gives a shit.
Gives a shit. It's whatever impression the guy in the back room can do, I guess.
Yeah. It's Howard Cosell.
Finally. Yeah. So I have a feeling that whoever does the Jeff Goldblum, you might know, Monique, he got a talking to after this. He had no material prepared whatsoever. And the impression's good, but this goes nowhere.
It's Jeff Goldblum. What do you want to say?
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my gosh. I loved Fisty Gary. What a hoot. Oh, yes. Finally, something I can relate to. Scabba-da-da-da, escape-a-da-da-day.
I would think an actor like you would hate this Fisty Gary, because most of your entertainment...
No, you're quite mistaken, quite mistaken. I am very interested in the idiosyncrasies of the human capacity for pleasure. It reminds me of when I was the fly.
Just stop. That is so horrible. That is so horrible.
Dr. Steve?
I think the impression's fine, but what is he talking about?
I don't know,
what the hell is that?
I don't know.
First off, it's the same guy who does William Shatner, right? So it's it's the same guy for all of them.
Sure.
Actually, I've decided. So he only when it's somebody that he knows, how to do the voice. That's so horrible. What else is, why?
Well, listen to him shoehorn in the fact that he was the star of the movie The Fly. Doesn't make any sense in this context, but I guess he thinks that's going to make it funny.
It reminds me of when I was the fly, the grotesqueness, and they call me Fisty Goldie. Yes,
okay, all right. I've had enough of you. Come on. Fisty Goldie.
They called me Fisty Goldie, did they? Is that what they called you?
Nope.
Nobody did.
No.
It's such an epic fail for such a once great radio show to do that. All right, let's get into lecturing Robin. On September 11th, SiriusXM had a concert. Pearl Jam came in, invite only, kind of a nice thing for the employees and stuff. So Robin and Gary went to it. And Howard's not too happy about this. This is not something he would have done.
I got sent a picture Saturday night. I almost blew my stack. Robin standing there without a mask next to Eddie Vedder taking pictures. And I'm like, well, I guess someone isn't immunocompromised, I guess.
Wait a minute.
So you would think I was playing you a clip from September 2021 or September 2020. This is September 2022. And Howard's like, you were not wearing a mask next to Eddie Vedder? Well, there goes Robin. Nice knowing you.
I wish.
So apparently, Howard and Robin had a phone call earlier that weekend, and Robin didn't bring up the fact that she was going to see Pearl Jam. Gee, I wonder why.
Because I had been tested and I was negative. So only people in that room were negative.
You didn't discuss.
Just tested.
I recall speaking with you before Saturday and for about an hour on the phone, and no mention of you were going to Pearl Jam. I mean, you kept it awfully tight to the vest. You knew that I would.
What do I want to do with you? Argue every time I want to go somewhere.
Well, I just would have said, nice knowing you, and enjoy the afterlife.
You want a chance to say goodbye.
Yeah, I would have said, just tell my dad I say hello when you see him up there.
Howard nags everyone for everything. And he's like, I can't believe you didn't tell me that. You know, like if your wife nags you all the time, you're not going to come home and share everything you did during the day. That's going to piss her off, obviously. Howard has become the nagging wife.
Yeah, nobody shares what they do with him anymore. They can't. They can't because they know they're going to hear from him. And it's just him building his case for just sitting at home and not having to come back into the office.
Yeah, and Robin even said, in order to get backstage and meet Pearl Jam, you had to get tested and test negative for COVID in order to do that, which is surprising, to be honest with you. I can't believe they're still doing that. I don't go anywhere where they test you anymore.
I think it's just for back only. I can't even imagine. And she was in the audience for the whole thing with like 500 people.
Right.
You know, so what is that? It means nothing. They didn't test for people going in for the regular show.
Right. So, concerts don't kill people. Unless you go to Guns N' Roses in like 1989, then you might die. But for the most part, Pearl Jam in 2022, it's serious. You'll be fine. You'll be all right.
And P.S., can we just add to the fact that it wasn't for people at Sirius. It was a contest where they gave away tickets for it so that listeners can go to the thing. But in actuality, nobody who was sitting down in the main section was a listener. All the listener people, which amounted to maybe like 50 people, were up on the nosebleed seats, and that's where they got to stay. So it was really just just a fluff thing. And Gary goes to the opening of a fucking paper bag. So, of course, he was there with Jackson Delabate. And I
don't blame him. I would go to that concert, too, if I could go to it. I would see Pearl Jam with 500 people.
Yeah, will come. Absolutely. But Robin, sadly, she looked really bad. I don't know if you saw pictures of it, but, she didn't have on the Fuzili hair wig, and she just had like a little babushka over her hair, and she has no eyebrows, so she looked really like, holy shit.
I was playing some clips on Drew and Mike of the Howard Stern Show recently, and they were talking about pickleball because, Robin, notoriously a huge tennis fan, and she's like, I just suck at tennis. And Gary comes in and says, Robin, you'd be really good at pickleball. Robin's 70 years old. She's obese. She's not in good shape. Like, I don't think she'd be great at pickleball either. I
think she'd be great at anything right now.
No,
let's be honest.
I don't think so. All right.
And she's another one. She's never coming back. She's never coming back.
She's not in the studio either?
She's never coming back.
I have a friend who has a theory, Monique. I'll run it by you. Because this contract that Howard just signed with Sirius, it definitely favors Howard more than it does the company. Is it possible that Sirius says, you have to come back to the studio or we're cutting ties?
I feel like he has done so many contracts in his life that he has made clause for every single thing that they could possibly throw at him. And even at worst case scenario, if they decide to fire him, they'll be like, well, if you pay me. I don't think that he so many guys on my show think that he, is some sort of equity holder in the company, or he has some say in what happens. Look at Opie and Anthony. Look at, all these shows where he's kind of put the kibosh on them so that he's the one who gets all the money. Look at 101 that used to have like Bubba and all these other people on it, and they just took that money away and gave it to Howard.
Right.
So I think at this point he could do whatever the hell he wants. And you know what? If every one of his interviews is a Zoom call, so be it. I don't think they care. They're very old school. It's kind of weird to me.
I think they care. I think the shareholders care. SiriusXM is not long for this world.
The way there's no, I don't think so either.
It's not a viable company.
It's not a viable company. And also they, the whole car deal thing, it's like, I don't want it in my car. Like I don't want that. And I usually compare it to like McAfee virus protection. It's like it comes with all those stupid computers, but nobody uses it,
right.
and then they lure you in to pay for it, or else you're going to get viruses and your computer's going to die. It's like, I don't even need it in my car. Everything is streaming now. They're an old model. It's dead. It's a dead model.
Well, it's also a frustrating company because I have the app. I pay for the app, even though I almost never use it, but it's a write-off. I need it sometimes for my job. So when I do want to stream Howard or something else, or Jim and Sam or whatever I'm listening to, I'll use my app for it. It doesn't work in my car. So I called the company and I said, hey, I already pay for a subscription. Can you just activate my car? You have to pay a separate fee to get your car activated. What other company does that? Like normally, I don't have to call HBO and say, I want to watch this on my phone and my computer. It's like you can just do it wherever.
Yeah, but you should be able to. Do you not just stream from your phone to your car?
Yes, I can. But I have a SiriusXM radio built into my car. I'd like to be able to just like fucking hit a button and have it
we all
go.
Do. But the reality is, if you go to like a new Tesla, like Tesla doesn't build it in. It's just like, okay, you just stream whatever the hell you want.
Ooh,
and once cars all have Wi-Fi,
wow, new Tesla Monique over here. Look at her. Okay.
Oh, no, I don't have a Tesla.
Talking to big timer over here. All right, yeah. I guess the Teslas. I didn't know that Teslas don't have it. Okay.
No,
that's why I didn't get one.
All right. So this is to your point earlier where Howard, the reason why he rags on everyone for having fun and living their lives is because he just wants to have an excuse. Like he was even telling Beth, his wife, how upset he was that Robin went to this concert.
I said to Beth on Saturday night, I go, look at Robin. I go, I got so upset. I just went, she's given up. Now she's out and about. I was very upset. I am still in my bunker.
He was very upset that Robin was having fun.
That was horseshit.
He's in his bunker. Poor
this whole
Beth.
thing is filling time. He's not really upset. We've all heard Howard upset before, for real.
I don't know about that.
I know how he is about germs and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
This isn't a dressing down. You heard them laughing with each other about this thing.
It goes on for a while, and then he's...
Yeah, they're filling time.
Yeah, you could be right about that. But I'll tell you why I think that he's serious. So Beth wanted to go to her friend's wedding that was in the city. Okay. And Howard was very much against it, of course. Mm-hmm. But her brother and sister-in-law were from out of town, and so they were all going to go to this wedding. Now, of course, Howard's not going. That's crazy talk. But he insisted that Beth wear a mask to the reception. Or, I'm sorry, the ceremony. She couldn't go to the reception. She wasn't allowed to go to the reception.
She couldn't go to the reception, exactly.
To the ceremony, she had to wear a mask.
She goes, well, I have to go. It's my friend Jill. I'm going to go watch her get married. And so I said, how's that going to work, though? Are you going to wear a mask? She goes, I'll be the only one, but I will wear a mask. I said, okay, that makes sense. But she goes into the city with her brother and sister-in-law. They went to Nobu. The brother and the sister-in-law went to Nobu. Uh-huh. Beth sees them later that night and then took a car ride with them. So I said, Nobu's got to be where people get COVID. She goes, no. All the waiters wear a mask and all the tables are separated. I go, bullshit. What is that?
You could not win with Howard. No. You talked to someone who went to a restaurant within this decade? Are you crazy? Yeah. No, I'm going to die.
Wait, better yet, you went with your brother and your sister-in-law, who, by the way, he purchased his own COVID testing machine, which was like $5,000 or $6,000. He purchased a COVID testing machine so that anybody who comes into his house gets tested, and then before they can actually enter the house, they have to wait like 12 or 24 hours.
5 days.
To test it again, and then and only then can they come into the house.
Jesus.
I mean, I don't. He's going to be like Howard Hughes. Like seriously,
yes,
he's going to be.
He's already there, and he's proud of it. He even says this.
This morning, I fucked up and kissed her goodbye when I was coming down here to work, and now I have COVID.
How dare you!
So I'm the only one still fighting the good fight.
Yeah, which should tell you something. Like, you should ask your therapist, like, am I mentally ill? Because I'm the only one who still thinks this is a thing. Even Biden came out and said the pandemic's over. Even Biden, his buddy, is like, yeah, no, this isn't a thing anymore. It's over.
We're done with it. I mean, and yes, I'm sure people are still getting it, and I get that, and whatever. But
people are still getting all the shit. Monique, this is a fact of life. People get sick.
He's not going to die from it. He's been like boosted, and he kept talking about it. I don't know if you listened to this part of the show, but he was talking about how Beth is insisting that they get the new booster,
right,
and then 2 weeks from when they get the booster, because that's what he's told is the allotted amount of time for you to then be inoculated. Then they're going to come into the city for like a week or two, because he hasn't been here in like 3 years.
Right, which is odd to me that Howard Stern or anyone who's semi-intelligent would believe pharmaceutical companies now. Like, well, they're saying that this one actually will work. Oh, okay. Yeah, why not? I'm sure they're not lying this time.
So it'll get me less sick than the last one did when I did get COVID. After being boosted twice, I got COVID. Like, I've been good for almost 3 years. And then after my last booster shot, I got sick. And I'm like, well, what the fuck? What? Okay, is the point that I'm not going to die? Is that basically what the point is? So it's basically
they never said that. That's the thing, Monique. I don't want to get into a whole fucking political rant. You can take it off of YouTube.
Don't get him started.
But that was never the point of any of this. And now they're pretending that's what it was. Well, just so you don't get as sick. What medicine does that? Anyway.
I will tell you, though, I came back from Shanghai one year with avian flu.
Whoa, Shanghai. Did you take your Tesla there? I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
My business, you asshole. And I came back with avian flu, and I didn't know that's what it was, but I have never been that sick in my life. And I solidly down and out for the count for like 3 weeks. 102, 103, 104 fever. I had no idea what it was. It was just, okay, I got a bad flu. And so I wouldn't wish that flu on my worst enemy.
Yeah.
But it was a flu. It was just a bad flu. That's what it is. So
sickness has existed for a very long time, before you or I were even born.
Yes,
People
and
were
COVID is
sick
still a
with it.
variation of the 1918 flu, by the way. We're still variating off of that.
Well, it was man-made in the lab, but whatever. Funded by
think
Fauci.
so.
Am I off YouTube yet? What's going on? What do I have to say?
Exactly. You can't even say that word anymore.
This is the last clip I'm going to play. Our guest is here. He's figured out a way to get here. I didn't think he was going to make it, so I want to bring him on. But I want to go back to, because I glossed over this one. So they're talking about this Hunger FF character, the guy who likes getting fisted, and Howard's like, man, I really need to interview this guy. How great. I can't believe I've never talked to him before. And then they're like talking about how great the interview would be. And they go to Ronnie. Oh, Ronnie, I bet you got tons of questions for this guy.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. I guess I thought I had interviewed him, but now I don't know what I'm remembering. But okay, I would certainly ask him some questions. We could get the whole team in here to ask him questions.
Yeah,
I think Ronnie's got a question.
Ronnie would have a field day with this guy.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
What would you ask him? What's your first question, Ron?
I'm trying to figure out what kind of pleasure this guy gets out of guys like taking that the skin in their mouth and shit. No, I just can't picture it.
I bet you'd have a field day. Yeah. What would you ask him? It's like, it's gross, right? Yeah. Good one, Ronnie.
How many questions exactly does one have for a guy who takes fists up his ass? Like, how many questions can there be?
0, according to Ronnie, because he couldn't come up with one.
That is the correct answer.
Who are these podcasts?